Okay, awesome. First off, Tay, thank you for coming. This means a lot to me. I've been following you for a while, so I definitely am excited to have you on. Last night I did a lot of like in-depth research and I went down like a rabbit hole. So
Okay.
it's a lot that I want to chat about. But first, I want to start with your beginning. So
hmm
I did some research on your family and I see that you have a lot of siblings, correct?
hmm
I
Yeah.
want you to walk us through how growing up was and how is that dynamic being the oldest?
Initially, okay, so I was the oldest, or I was by myself for like 4 years. Then I had my first sister, and then from that point on, it didn't slow down anytime soon. And growing up was pretty chill, very family oriented. We always had a big family, even before I had siblings. Um, yeah, not everybody is in the same household, so uh, we definitely have to navigate that. But also, we all live in the same city. Like we've always been close, no matter what. It's never been an issue of like who's here, who's there, who is treated differently. Like everybody, we've always been like this since day one. So I've loved that, and I'm grateful for that. And being the oldest, I think initially because I was young, I wasn't necessarily. Ooh,
Mine literally just did the same thing.
it's
My
all
life
right.
just
It's all right.
fell. You good.
Initially, there wasn't this pressure of needing to do whatever people assume the oldest is supposed to do. So I didn't feel that pressure before. I will say subconsciously, I think nowadays I do, but it's because I want to give my siblings the greatest life possible. It's just that there are so many of them.
Yeah.
So obviously you need more to do that. So overall, I think it's been great. It's been fun. I love being the oldest sibling because I think sometimes I'm trying to lead by example, but I don't realize that me existing and doing the things that I do and already breaking certain generational curses or uh, uh, circumstances has already changed their minds and informed them of what they can do with themselves. So,
I love that. I think a lot of the time the older sibling dynamic, um, I'm a middle child, so I
mhm,
have a younger and older and another older sibling, so technically middle. But I do understand being the oldest, sometimes you can feel kind of pushed aside because you feel like your only responsibility is, okay, my younger siblings, and it's
mhm,
like you usually are not able to explore what you want to do or even have these expansive dreams. So I thought that that was really interesting with your story because I'm like, okay, he like was like, okay, I'm about to still do my thing, do what I want.
mhm.
And I love that you were talking about generational curses and stuff. Tell me, even outside of the sibling dynamic, what is the realm of your parents? Like, are they into chasing their dreams? Are they a little bit more traditional? Tell me a little bit about that.
I would say everybody's creative all over, but I would say my dad's super creative. My mom is more logistical. I think she's more practical too.
Okay.
And my mom is Haitian, so there's all those values and like certain ways that things should be. She's not like strict, and she's first generation in America, so technically, I would say I got the better end of it.
Okay.
Um, but I will say because they have kids, I think that kind of hindered their idea of quote unquote chasing your dreams and
Hmm.
I guess seeking all the different things that life has. I think I had that freedom because I didn't have kids or didn't have a strict Haitian parent. But my dad is also super creative, so I think um, they've supported theater and support chasing your dreams. I think doing theater because I was the first person to pursue the arts in the way that I did, as far as acting, dance, and all that kind of stuff. Because I was the first one, they were cautious, but they never were trying to instill fear in me or anything like that. I
Right.
just think it took for me to actually make something of it and like them see that I'm actively seeking it and actively succeeding at getting shows and going to college for it and this and that and the third to be like, okay, well, maybe he can do it. But they've never made me feel weird about it or like doubtful.
Yeah.
They'll just ask me, am I sure? And then they'll take me. They've come to all my shows, like all that kind of stuff. They've always supported it. But I think because they didn't have the creative space to navigate it and they've never done theater or performing arts the way that I have or to the extent that I have, they just kind of let me lead them and just supported me as I went along.
I think that's the blessing in that. I know a lot of the times parents from different generations and different cultures as well don't really understand new things, and especially in this new realm of how you can make money, whether it's content creation, whether it's auditioning, whether it's shoot selling plates, whatever the case may
Mhm.
be. It's like we can find so many different ways of like monetizing. I
Yeah.
think back in the day, it was like, okay, go to work, go home. That's it. So I think us being in that space now, I think it gives our parents bravery too to be like, okay, my
Mhm.
son, I don't know what this is, but he's booking things and he's going after it and he's auditioning and being serious about it. I think them seeing you be serious about it probably was like, okay, he's really on this, you know? So
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about what led to you getting into the creative world. I know we
Hmm.
touched a little bit on family dynamics.
Hmm.
Do you remember a time in your childhood where you were like, I want to do that?
Hmm. I initially, and still do, I think it was a lot of TV and film stuff. Like I watched a lot of Disney Channel, mostly
Yes.
that was basically what I watched. Disney
Yep.
Channel, Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network. It was, but we had like Comcast, that's what it was at the
Yeah. Yeah.
time. And I mostly slept in my parents' room. So it was like my mom would have her show on. She'd be on Element or Lifetime, and I don't want to watch any of those scary killer investigation discovery shows. So when her show would go on commercial, we would switch to Disney Channel, and then we would just keep bumping back and forth
Yeah.
because I wanted to watch her TV. But yeah, I always wanted to be like a child actor, a famous child actor. And honestly, I thank God today that I wasn't because of
Yeah.
all that we know now. But that
Yeah.
was like my biggest dream. And then like 2007, my mom got me this portable DVD player and she brought High School Musical 2, the movie. So I watched that and I was like, wait. So I was learning all the songs, all the dances, carrying that portable DVD player everywhere that I went. And I tell this story all the time, but I never told her that I wanted it. I never voiced interest in it. I mean, she knew I like Disney Channel and it was coming out, but she just bought it. And I think that's kind of what gave me like the sing and dance bug. And then in school, we had little shows. I think I watched Jungle Book for the first time in like kindergarten. And I was like, can I be in these shows? They told me
Yeah.
I was too young or whatever. So I had to wait till I was like in second grade at 8 years old. And then they let me audition. And from there, it's been the rest is history.
Hey, that makes me teary-eyed because, like, with the High School Musical stuff, I'm a High School Musical kid. Like,
Mhm.
me and my best friend, we used to go pop the DVD in at her house and then learn the dances because they had the little dances on the DVD. And
Yep.
I remember, and first off, I'm not a musical person. Like, and when I
Mhm.
say that, I mean I am not a performer in musicals. I did
Mhm.
musicals before, but that ain't my strong suit.
Yeah.
I'm not super comfortable with it. But I
Mhm.
remember in ninth grade we watched High School Musical 3, senior year, the senior year one. And
Yeah.
I remember when the teacher popped it in, I wasn't really caring about it. And then I locked in on it. And I just was like, they look like they're having so much fun, like doing this. And I think that's the beauty of Disney at that time. It's like you can see that joy. And I see how that like probably hit you because you're very joyful when you perform. Like I
Yeah.
watched a lot of your reels and stuff, and like I can just tell when you're singing and dancing, you're just in that moment. Like nothing else is mattering. Like
Nope.
you're it's like, okay, I'm happy doing what I'm doing. And
Yeah.
that's what makes me a little teary eyed because I love seeing performers just be in that space because it doesn't really compare to anything else. People that don't perform don't understand that feeling when you're performing,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah. They don't get
So
that
okay,
relief.
it's different. It's
Yeah.
different. Okay, so you talk about Disney, and pretty much everybody I've had on the pod has said Disney influenced them. What would you say was your favorite show in your, would you say High School Musical is your favorite movie from Disney? Or do you have another one?
Yeah, I would say High School Musical 2 is my favorite from Disney specifically.
Okay.
Favorite show from Disney. I did love Wizards of Waverly Place.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
I
Classic.
loved Ant Farm. I loved all things that made like kids and teenagers special, or I guess
Yeah.
acknowledged and highlighted their specialness, whatever it may be. Obviously, was the way we placed they had magical
Yeah.
powers, and it was all about finding your magical power. I think there was a metaphor there beyond literal powers and wizardry and all that kind of stuff. But I
Mhm.
just was into the specialness of it all. I was always trying to figure out what my special skill was, my special talent, and I wanted to have as many as possible. So I think that's why I gravitated towards those shows. Like Zack and Cody, I liked, but I wasn't like excited and on the edge of my seat to watch Zack and Cody. I was like, I want to watch Where's the Waverly Place,
Yeah.
Ant Farm. I'm trying to think of what other shows they had on there. I know there was like Fish Hooks that was animated.
Like,
Um, but yeah,
have you
yeah,
seen that China is gonna be in I saw that the
Gatsby.
other day.
Like I saw Gatsby already, but I might have to go back.
China. Yeah, I wrote under her thing and I did one of the lines from the Ant Farm theme song. And
Hmm.
I'm a big fan of China because I feel like she has her own like unique flair as an
Hmm.
actor.
Hmm.
I'm really a fan of her. Okay, so you say the Disney stuff, right? So now let's put it into action. Do you remember your first audition and how that audition went? No.
School audition. The most recent one that I can remember is like middle school. I don't remember anything from elementary school auditions at all, to be honest. Middle school, yes. I think our first show was Dear Edwina.
Okay.
I didn't really love the show at the time, but I still remember all my harmonies and everything. That, and then we did Fame my eighth grade year, and I think I sang like "Cry for Me" from Jersey Boys, something random. That
Uh-huh.
now I'm like, why did I sing that? But my first like audition, I would say industry wise outside of school was Raven talked about this too. It was the little Disney convention thing where they say you're gonna be the next big star.
Yes.
You hear it on the radio. I went to that. I heard it on the radio, and I convinced my dad to take me. He was like, "Okay, we're not gonna get up in these people plays and play. You better be serious about it. Don't be acting shy." Da, da, da. I'm like, you talking to me like you done coached me prior to this. We going on a whim, but we went. They had us get these sides or whatever. First, we had like a big intro, and they had I forget the actress's name, but she was on Jessie. That was also one of my favorite shows. Jessie.
Uh,
She was on Jessie. It wasn't Debbie Ryan, but it was the girl who played Agatha. She was there,
mm.
and she was like the mean nanny with the mole. I forget what
I
her
know
name
who
was.
you're talking about, but I
Yeah.
cannot think about her
Anyway,
name.
she was there. She introduced it. Then we got sides from all the agents. They say go out for like 5-10 minutes max. That's all you get. Memorize it. Come back. Blah, blah. Audition. Of course, they were like, oh my god, he's so good. We would love to work with him. They bring you in the
Yeah.
office. They say, so this is how much money we need in this month or whatever, $3,000. And I looked at my daddy. I was like, okay. We left, and at first we were trying to raise money and all that kind of stuff, but then people was like, "This might be a scam." Da, da, da. They shouldn't charge
Yeah.
you. And he was like, "Okay." So that dream kind of died for a little bit, but I still kept performing.
How did that feel to you when when I guess y'all started to realize it was a scam? At that age, how did that feel for you? Was it a letdown?
Yes, I don't think I had thought too much of it because I wasn't like hyper fixated on certain things at the time. As a kid,
Okay.
I feel like without the phones and all that kind of stuff, I had a phone as a kid, but I was living like outside of my phone. I was playing sports.
Yeah.
Whenever I was away from school, I was just outside having fun, hanging with friends, sleepovers, all that kind of stuff. So I'm super grateful for my childhood because I wasn't too caught up in other things. I was very,
Right.
very present, even though when I became aware of like spirituality and all that and started working on that later on, I felt like I wasn't present. But
Mhm.
as a kid, I was really, really present, which is why I don't have like footage of everything or have so much to recall from
Right.
that.
You said
But it
it
was fun.
earlier, like about, I think all actors have had, if you're not doing the child acting thing, I think all
Mhm.
actors have had that moment where they're like, I wish I would have started earlier. I used to say that all the time because I'm like, I
Mhm.
could have been doing this, but I think really keeping your childhood as that, like just as your childhood is really important because the pressures and the anxiety that can come from auditioning, even as
Mhm.
an adult, and that's what I tell people all the time, it really can be like this roller coaster of
Mhm.
like emotions because you can get really excited if you have a callback and you're like, okay, I'm close or I'm testing or and then they're like, okay, or you don't hear anything back.
Mhm.
So for you, what age was it for you where you said, okay, I'm seriously taking this serious and I'm about to start really putting foot to the pavement here, like for your career?
I'll say initially it was like junior year of high school.
Okay.
I had a friend who was going to like Unifieds, which is where they have all the college auditions. I don't know if you know what that is.
I feel like I've heard of it, but I'm
Like
not
colleges
very
come to the
familiar.
major cities, and it's like all the colleges, or at least like 50 something plus colleges. I don't know.
Okay.
After you've done the pre-screens and submitted auditions to try to be seen in person or whatever, they'll ask you to come and you go to a city and try to. It's basically to centralize the audition so you don't have to go to every single state or in every single city to pay all that
Gotcha.
money and audition in person.
Okay.
They allowed me to come with them for free and was like, all you have to do is pay for your own food. They didn't end up making me pay for anything, so I did that like February of my junior year. Got into a lot of schools or whatever, and I was like, wait, so I maybe can do this because I didn't know about majoring in theater until like junior year of college. Um,
Okay.
oh, not college, high school. Sorry,
School. High
junior year
school.
of high school, and I was like, okay, because I was going to do like architecture or something of the sort. I really like, still love architecture and homes and interior design and all that kind of stuff. But I was like, would I have fun doing that full time? I don't think so. Same thing with sports. So I think junior year of high school is when I decided that I was going to like fully lock in.
I saw that you attended Pace University, correct?
Yes.
So I was like, wait a minute now. I was like, okay, he went to Pace. So I think what's interesting is, when you can be unsure about something, but then your circumstances can kind of show you like, no, you're built for this. Like,
Yeah.
how would you say that process was, first off, going into Pace University and then your years at Pace University? How was that experience?
I don't talk about pace that much, but it's only because we went on a very special circumstance and period of time. Like my freshman
Okay.
year was 2019,
Hmm.
and obviously the pandemic happened top of 2020. So I was there. I was so excited to be
Oh,
there. I hadn't seen Broadway shows. So I was seeing Broadway shows all the time. Pace was giving us tickets. Like it
hmm.
was like a whole new world had opened up.
Yeah.
And I had never been to New York City before I committed to Pace. So
Oh,
the thing is, like you said, when you start feeling that thing, you don't really question it. I've been an overthinker for a while. I think more so now than before, but it's because I want control of everything. But when it came to college auditions and all that, I wasn't really like worried about it in a way. I was just like,
mhm.
where am I going to end up going? The only thing I was worried about was like financial aid and scholarships.
Yeah.
So I think I had done a bunch of callbacks and walk-ins for schools at Unifieds, and then I was set on going to Boston Conservatory just
Okay.
because it was more conservatory style. I knew I did well in school. I had great grades, all that stuff, but I knew that I wanted my time to be used for what it was going to be used for later on.
Hmm.
Very young. I've always been headstrong. I've always known like this is what I want to work on. So I wanted to work on theater specific things, performance specific things. I don't want to do no general education classes, but
Hmm.
it required that. I was like, I'm going to go to BOCO. And then while I was seeing Hamilton on tour, actually with my high school, it called me at intermission. Well, I got a voicemail at intermission and told me I got in. So I was like, wait. So then I had a call with my friend. Her name's Emma. She went to high school with me and middle school with me, and
Oh,
she was also at Pace. And I was like, so what do you think of Pace? Da, da, da. Asked about her experience. We talked for like an hour or two, and that kind of like solidified it. I don't know if I needed to have that call to even decide that I wanted to go to New York, but I think it kind of made me comfortable to know that she was there and that she was at least having a decent time.
yeah.
So that, and then pandemic happened. We got sent home for the second half of freshman year. So started online classes then. Then the whole next year, I was also home online. So I
Mm-hmm.
was working at Bed Bath and Beyond, working at my local theater, doing community theater shows. So the schedule was crazy. Sophomore year is supposedly the worst year for musical theater because there's so much that you have to cover. So it was a really hectic year. And then that was around the time that social media started taking off, and I was like, do I even want to stay in school? Like, I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I didn't know if it was worth it to stay because
Yeah.
online just didn't feel like it didn't feel sufficient, and I
Hmm.
feel myself not taking it seriously. I didn't slack or not do my work, but I just wasn't. It didn't feel thorough.
Yeah.
So I was in a really weird time sophomore year and like trying to work on fitness and like mental health and all that kind of stuff. But I just was literally in the house all day, sitting at the same table that I'm sitting at right now. Like I didn't do any work in my room because I was like, I want that to be my comfort space. But
Hmm.
where I'm sitting right now is where I sat for like a year and a half,
Yeah.
waking up, computer open, closed, taking a nap, blah blah blah, like repetition. So pace was fine. I just think it would have been cooler if I got the whole 4 years.
Yeah.
Once I
Yeah.
went back junior year, it was like COVID protocols. So
Mm.
your dorm, you got to get tested every Monday. You got to sing behind the shield, the clear glass panels or whatever. We had to wipe those down after we sang. Mind you, I'm like, why are we wiping them down if they're supposed to shield us? Like, it's just
Right.
we're wiping a wall down that we don't even touch or like physically like engage with. Some stuff seemed redundant, some stuff seemed repetitive, some stuff just seemed like annoying. So
Yeah.
it was very weird, very much a blur. And then senior year felt, I would say, more normal, but by that time it's like, okay, we're kind of done now.
Yeah.
So I'm glad I went because of the New York situation. I got exposed to New York early, even if it was only for like a year and some change the first time around, and then the last 2 years of college. Um, I think seeing shows, making community there, auditioning for a few things. Even though I feel like I didn't audition for anything while I was in school, I was very committed to school, which kind of I'm like, it's not always about being like that. I kind of regret that part, but overall, I think I needed to go to college no matter what and to go in New York to just kind of figure out my likes and dislikes and learn about the world beyond my hometown.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't say I had the best college experience, not solely because of the school, but solely because of like where I was, what I was navigating, the pandemic, all of that. There's just so much.
I
So I
did.
think my pace perspective is very skewed.
I didn't think about that because I didn't like, I guess, you never know someone's timeline of college, even based off of age. You never know. So
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know yours fell within that realm of like the pandemic. And I know for everybody, if you were pursuing anything at that time, think about the people that were like seniors in high school and didn't even get to do prom. Like, some people didn't even get to walk across the stage for graduation and stuff.
Yeah.
And when I would see that, that would like hurt me because I'm like, you didn't think that that was going to be how you ended high school. Like, those are the big things you look to. So sorry that it was like that. But I'm happy you graduated and you got your exposure.
Yeah.
Because clearly you're using it. You're using it for what you did. So
Yeah. And we did like showcase. So literally, I'm like, this isn't all I went to school for, but I'm glad I did showcase because I started
yes,
events and work after. So it obviously worked out
yes,
to
it
whatever
definitely worked
extent,
out. It
but
definitely worked out.
it was something.
It was a journey. It was definitely a journey. But I feel like you got because think about it. If you would have dropped all the way out,
Hmm.
it would have put you in that position where you didn't do your showcase.
Hmm.
And,
I
and who
think that would have been harder. I think I knew because I some people feel like quitting is bad and like redirecting your life is bad. I
Mhm.
kind of believed that early on, but also I knew that I would probably feel worse if I dropped out than I did if I stayed. I knew that for a fact.
Yes,
I think it would just hurt more, at least in the moment. And like fighting so hard to pay for school and to figure that
yes,
all out and all the stress that I went through trying to be like, how am I going to pay for it? My family doesn't have money for it. My scholarships are not covering all of it, but I had so many scholarships. It was just like, I felt like it was all going to go to waste and I didn't want that.
yeah.
Especially if it didn't feel impossible. It just felt super complex. So in the end, I'm glad I didn't drop, but
I like what you just said.
I
I
love it.
like what you just said about it doesn't feel impossible. It just feels it has its layers to it,
Yeah.
right? I like it's super complex. I want to steal it. I'm gonna steal that because a lot of the times you said you're an overthinker. I'm definitely an overthinker, and I'm trying to work with God to get me out of that, like to just do and go and just accomplish things, right? But a
Mm-hmm.
lot of the times my brain will really, if something is massive, it will times it by 25
Mm-hmm.
and then be like, okay, but how are you going to do this and how and how? And God is trying to get me out of the how.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to get me more in that space of just do. And I got
Mm-hmm.
you on the how. I'm gonna walk you through the how. If you just you got to take a step though. So
Step, just a literal step.
just a
That's
step.
always overthinking starting.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely taking the step. I think graduating also helped a lot because after all that was said and done, I had space to think and decide what I
Yes.
wanted to do, be particular about the things I wanted to audition for.
Mm-hmm.
I got to be more consistent with fitness. Like, I think all that helped, and the space that I had after moving back to New York City also helped, even
Mm-hmm.
though the apartment situation was crazy. I think it all worked out the way it was supposed to. I had to go through that hard spot so that I can be like, okay, I need to like lock in with my mind
Yeah.
and my soul and figure out what I want for myself. So,
Yes. Yes. Okay. So I want to dive into content creation, and you talk a lot about your fitness stuff. So I want to kind of push that together too.
mhm.
When did you start actively pursuing social media, and did you have a certain strategy that you went in with, or did you just start posting?
2020, well, 20, so I think August of 2019 is when I posted my first video.
Okay.
I think it was, I did a show that summer right before I went to college. I forget what show it was, but my best friend at the time, she loved social media. She would always send me videos, and she was like someone whose house I went to all the time during high school. We spent basically every day together. We had all the classes. We did theater together. Everything. She was literally a mother half. And I was like, stop sending me these videos. Just show me on your phone. And she was like, you have to download this app called TikTok. Da, 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 da. And I was like, okay. So eventually I downloaded it, and I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. Made a few dances. At the time, I think the viral dance was Obsessed by Mariah Carey. Why
Yes.
you so people was doing that. I made one video. It got like 500 or so likes. But then I saw a video from 2016, and I was like,
Hmm?
I never had TikTok in 2016. So it turns out I posted a Musically
Oh,
because I was so present as a kid. I didn't even know that the app or that the video uploaded or anything. So I posted it, I guess by accident, left it, and didn't see it again until I downloaded TikTok when they had like rebranded, which was so crazy because I'm like, did I plant this seed a while ago?
yes.
So 2019 was making videos for fun, hobby all the time. Me and her made videos together, and they kind of did well. I think our first video that was either viral or about to go viral, we sang "Raindrops" by Ariana Grande. It was like me, her, and my other friend Grace, and it was going viral. We were watching Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. I think it had really. We were like sitting in the movie theater like this, watching the numbers go up, and then TikTok kind of like restricted it. They do, you know how they like will monitor or
Uh-huh.
flag your video. They flagged it, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm. You like why?
we're singing a cappella. So then we was like, okay, we know we can do some numbers on here. And going into freshman year of college, I was posting a lot of videos, getting the side eyes, whatever. People didn't take TikTok seriously, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2020 was obviously the peak of like the world getting onto TikTok. But I was posting
Yes.
videos every single day. I was making dance videos. I would literally like learn a few dances, post like 12 videos a day sometimes. And then if they didn't do well, I would post 12 videos, the same videos or the same dances and trends the next day, but just in a different order.
Okay.
Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos, sometimes only getting 100 views, sometimes 30 views. I was fighting to make something happen. And
You
at the time,
fight.
I didn't even know that it could be a thing. No one knew the power of social media. This is when the Jalea Harmons and the Charlie D'Amelios, all that stuff was
Mm-hmm.
happening. And they all started like July. I'm like, if I would have got on in July, but I don't know. I felt kind of trapped in like a specific area of TikTok, even though dance was like what kind of brought it up. So yeah, I was posting videos all the time, trying to make dances. I wanted the next viral dance. And then 2021 of sophomore year, when I was studying for, it's called history and repertoire. We learn about theater, composers, blah, blah, blah. I
Okay.
was failed in the class. That was a very strict class. Like you had to know, you had to learn, you had to study, like you had to know. And I
Mhm.
couldn't fail with that class. So I was sick. And then I had to take a break. I closed the laptop. I went into my bathroom, which is literally like this big.
Mhm.
And I was scrolling on TikTok, of course, because that was like my little coping mechanism. And one of my friends, Kara, I think she danced to a song. And I was like, I like this song. I don't know if I love the dance, but I also want to make my own dance. So I made my own dance to the song. I
Mhm.
had on my Face University crew neck. See, this is crazy. It's tying all together. And I was like, okay, I can put on clothes because I would literally put on clothes to make videos. Or I was like, I'll save the draft tonight. put on the outfit tomorrow, and then post the actual video. And I was talking to my mom about it, and she was like, you never know like what can happen. So maybe just post the draft. I posted that draft, and oh my god,
Hey,
like today it has like 17 million views, but it got a lot overnight, and I was
hey.
like, hold on.
Oh,
So
that's exciting.
yeah, the sound went from like a few hundred videos to like I think 3 million videos, something of the sort now. And I didn't really get much from it. It was Flo Milli's song, Clap for 'em.
Mm-hmm.
Um, everybody was doing it. All the big TikTokers, everybody. Like it was crazy. I just couldn't believe it. So then I was like, okay, I gotta make another viral dance. But I think for what it was, a bunch of people started reaching out, asking me to dance to their songs. I started getting like a couple brand deals with like Nerf and like these random things at first. And obviously, younger me didn't. I was just excited to have a brand deal and make money from social media.
Yes,
I
yes.
didn't know what to charge. I didn't really know. I didn't know how to read no contracts, nothing. So it was fun. It was fun, and I felt very inspired. But then there was like this slow period again of like
Mm-hmm.
posting a bunch of videos, nothing hidden, same. But I think after 2021, I realized like, okay, I can do something with this dance thing and this social media thing. So 2021 was when I started to take it serious.
I think it's so crazy because it's like, a lot of the times like we have gifts that you can dance your tail off. We know that. Okay. That is, we get that. But I feel like it's so many people that can do things but feel like it's only one thing they can do with it. Where it's like, okay, I cheer, so I can only do it this way. But it's like for you, you like I can dance. Let me just throw together some real quick and just post it. Just
Literally.
take that step, post it. And that has been like the effect, like the domino effect of you being able to grow your following, have your deals with people. And I want to ask you, how would you say having the following that you do, have you ever seen that benefit you in the audition space? You
No.
say, because a lot of people these days with the film on the film side, they'll be like, okay, you're auditioning for this. Also send us your Instagram. Or also, and anytime somebody says that, I'm like, well, when y'all
Mm.
see my following, I hope y'all like the audition, but when y'all see the following, that's not going to be something that pulls y'all, if that makes sense.
No, it makes total sense. To be completely transparent, for anybody watching, no, at least not for me, because I don't know if it. I don't know what it is. Obviously, I'm very specific. Well, very
Hmm.
specific, but also not specific. I'll go into that in a minute. But I think being a black boy in theater
Hmm.
who I guess does have a decent following,
Hmm.
I think it's just like it's a crazy juxtaposition because there's not. I won't say there's not much for us in theater, but again, it's not easy to be like, oh, he got a lot of following. We can put him in any role. They got to think about it. They got to think about if it's worth it because they even if we do have following, if we do have talent, if we are big Broadway stars, if we have the name, they still are questioning whether it's worth it. I.e., big Broadway.
Yes. Yes.
So I won't say mine has benefited me at all
Okay.
that I know of. It hasn't been brought up to me. It hasn't been like requested outside of content stuff
Mhm.
for theater. They've never been like, how many followers do you have? Whatever, whatever. I have it on my resume as like a special skill or whatever, but to me, it's never served me. Also, I don't lead with that ever in any.
Yes.
Like they can look it up if they want. They find it. Usually, people find it eventually, but I never. I can't even think of a time that I've been like, oh, and I also do social media. Like when I taught
Right.
at this summer camp recently, the kids found my TikTok and told me about it. But I'm just being me, trying to be a good person, make sure the kids have fun at camp. Like I never lead with it because
Yeah.
I don't have a big head about it. I know people do, but I think people do project what they think social media people or content creators or influencers think slash what their moral compass is. So I
Yep.
would, and whenever I withhold information in any regard, it's for the sake of curating a blank slate for everybody.
Yeah.
Also giving you the grace to learn me in person versus trying to determine. Because I've had people be like, "Oh my god, I thought you were so rude. I thought you were this and that." Mind you, I'm like this on social media.
Smiling. Yeah.
Just goes to show that people will think whatever, no matter what you do.
Yes.
So that said, I never lead with it. So no, I technically have not benefited from it that I know of.
Okay. First, I love that you touched on number one being a black boy in the Broadway space in that realm of
Even
stage
social media too, yeah.
and social media. How would you say? how would you say when it comes to going into auditions, right? And you already know, okay, I'm a black boy going into this, and I might be going into a show that really isn't a black show or a white show, whatever. How does that feel going into those spaces, knowing that you, in some ways, might be judged a little bit more critically?
Honestly, okay, so for college, I was the only black person that graduated in my theater class to start.
Okay, okay.
There was a lot more. There was four, or I think four of us total when we started. Then we lost like half of our theater class over the pandemic, Black
Yeah.
Lives Matter, all that. Anyway, at senior showcase, I think it hit me really hard that I'm like, okay, I automatically stand out. So all I have to do is just be good at what I do, and I trust that
Yeah.
I'm good enough at what I do. So I started to see it from that perspective.
Hmm.
When I'm in the audition room, auditioning for things, I don't even think about whether it's a disadvantage or not. I'm like, okay, I'm going to stand out, so they're going to look at me at some point. If it's for me,
Yes.
it is. If it's not, it's not. But I kind of like that I stand out in it.
Yes.
Obviously, when it comes to being in the shows and being in the spaces, that's very different. And like I just finished Back to the Future, which is a very white show. It doesn't always feel great, but being able to get a job and like being able to work and automatically be seen for obviously things that we don't have control over,
Hmm.
in my opinion, it does help at least get you some attention so that we
Hmm.
at least look at you. Because obviously we've been disregarded historically for on many occasions. So I
Yeah.
think in the theater space it does help. And then because I like tumble and I feel like I'm a jack of all trades, but I'm not. I won't say I'm perfect or 10 out of 10 at one of them. I think I'm good at dance and singing and all that kind of stuff. People will probably say dance is like super high, but I really do feel like I have a lot of work to do. But I think I've done enough work to be able to dabble in everything and be good at it.
I
So,
love that when you, I feel like you're confident in yourself, but
mm-hmm,
in no way does it come off boastful. Like
mm-hmm,
I think
no,
that's a hard line to straddle sometimes for people when it's like they know they're talented, but it's like you have this humble nature about yourself where it's like, okay, look, I know I've did my work, I've studied,
mm-hmm,
I graduated, I know I can tumble, I know I can sing, I know I can dance, but it's never in a space of being like snooty. And I feel like
mm-hmm.
some performers can have this snooty air upon
And people
themselves.
are like that. People are like that,
This
surprisingly.
Yeah, it's a regal nature and not regal in a good way. It's a little bit more it's not warmth. It's
Yeah, I have confidence. Yeah, no, so
okay.
definitely
Like
that.
it's literally the nose up, but it's such a beautiful thing when you see someone that has did the work and that is clearly talented. But that inspires other people to know that they could do it too. Because it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I don't
Well,
have to
growing up,
change.
also being confident was hard in the sense that it reads to people differently. People project all the time. That's what I've learned growing up in
Mm,
being who I am. People project all the time. So I've been told, like while I was in high school and stuff, people thought I was conceited and whatever, full of myself. Which full of yourself, I'm like somebody got to be full. You
yes.
can't be empty. But I swear I never felt like I was better than anybody. Like I wanted to be super good at what I did, and I
Of
wanted to
course.
be in the shows. I wanted to do everything that I could to do well and to be better.
Hmm.
I was always dancing and pirouetting and flipping and stuff in the hallways, but it was never to make anybody else feel bad. And I think people was projecting their insecurity onto me, but
Yep.
that's I had to learn that that's not in my control.
Mm,
Control is the theme word. I had to learn that that was not in my control, and that being confident, it's not my responsibility to make other people feel comfortable or to
yes.
feel equally skilled or any of the things. I'm never going to make anybody feel bad because I think outside of performing, everybody is important. Like human beings, everybody has
Yes.
worth. So I'm never going to belittle anybody, but I'm also not going to
Shrink.
self deprecate or shrink because I have shrunk in the past many a times.
Hmm. I
Yeah.
know that vibe. I used to think being humble was equal to shrinking. Where it's
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, um, okay, I think It get to that point, you like, look, God gave me this talent, and He doesn't want me walking around like I'm unsure of myself. That
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean I have to be rude to anyone. That doesn't mean I have to tell you you're bad at this, but I don't have to give you more space because then I'm hurting myself then, and then that starts to affect my talent because I'm
Mhm.
shrinking, and then being unsure starts to creep in on
Mhm.
yourself, you know. Okay, so in my research, I saw, and I've been wanting to talk to someone about this, and I'm happy that I can talk to you about it. You've did the swing thing. Like
Yes. Oh my goodness.
anytime I hear somebody say they do that, my brain wants to explode because I'm just like, how do you deal with being a swing? Is it stressful?
When I say all the work that I did like after college for mindfulness was reversed because okay, so I'm a perfectionist and I have the confidence. Like I never thought that I was going to go on stage and look crazy. I just wanted it to be perfect.
Yes.
So that's debilitating sometimes. And I've swung before I started Back to the Future on tour. Granted, you're on tour, you got to learn the show on tour. You have to learn to swing on tour while the show is already moving. That's a monster in itself. But I had a swing class in college, which obviously is not the extent of an actual show, but I'm really glad I got exposed to that class because they teach you how to swing a number, how to cover several roles. But it's only like a semester. Then when I started working immediately after college, like 2 days after, I was in a show and I was in the ensemble, but I was also a swing, so like an onstage swing in a way, similar to Back to the Future. But for that show, the first show that I did, I was on the whole show. So I swung that show, and I ended up having to go on because there was this whole discrepancy between two boys. One of them wanted to call out of work, da da da. And thank God I was. You know how people are always backstage, and people in the show will learn other people's numbers and other people's choreo.
Yes.
I did that voluntarily, even though I still needed to do it. They weren't requiring me to be there. So when
Oh,
I was rehearsing, I was sitting at the rehearsal space watching them do their numbers. I was filling in when so and so was working on another scene. So not knowing I was preparing myself, and I ended up having to go on. And I honestly felt like a deer in headlights because I had never done everything like in costume in space. And I
mhm.
literally remember like it was yesterday. I was sitting on stage in a number. We were doing Evita, and the guy playing Peron, he was like walking across, and we have shades on, so you can't see me look crazy, but he was walking across, and I'm an officer, and I'm like, I literally don't know what's about to happen next. So I was like, body, you got to take over. And it worked out. It was fine, but I was like, oh my God, never want to feel that again. Then Back to the Future, my contract was listed as a partial swing. So I was in finals for Back to the Future and Outsiders at the same time. Outsiders was like, "Are you interested in swinging?" And I was like, Then Back to the Future said partial swing, and I'm thinking partial meant partial. No, partial mean for me for this role specifically, it's like so it was curated, and it's not literally a thing that happens in many shows like the partial swing thing, but it means that you'll be on stage for something every night, and then you'll cover set amount of roles. In the contract, it was like this feature, this feature, this feature. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm only going to go on for specific numbers, do this, do that. No, they just like broke it down, but it's literal roles. So like 8 roles. And I didn't know that until not
Hey.
even when I got there. I didn't know that until I started learning them. And I was like, they were like, you're going to learn this, you're going to learn. I was like, Miss Jackson. So it was very crazy. And then because our show was like hard on the body, there was a lot of partnering, there was a lot of this, a
Mhm.
lot of that. We're on tour, we're doing different weather, climates, allergies, sickness, everything. People are always out. But when you're a swing, you don't necessarily get to determine or decide which roles you go on for. Management obviously is doing that for you, stage management. So we had like priority roles, which is like, oh, we'll call you first if this role calls out. But when you happen to be, I won't say I guess when you happen to be good or they like you being on stage in the roles, they'll
Yeah.
call you for everything. So it's like a pro and a con.
Hey.
So I got called on to go on a lot, and sometimes it was like an hour notice. Sometimes you were at the theater sitting down after you decided you were not going to be in, well, not decided you weren't going to be in the show, but accepted that you weren't going to be in the show, and they're like, okay, you got to go on. Or the show has already started and we're halfway through, and they're like, you got to go on. So just a matter of that. Like if you have 17,000 roles in your head and some of them do similar things or some of them are in scenes together or like all that kind of stuff, it's not healthy for the mind or not healthy for the nerves to be in that predicament. And that was basically every day of my life for a whole year. And when we were in Toronto, we went to Toronto like my second or third month. I was in rehearsal every single day for like 42 days. And uh, I had done a few roles prior, like 2 or 3 roles, and then in Toronto, I debuted like 4 roles in one weekend. So the after the show, I had a role, the night show, I had a role. Like it was crazy. And after that, I was like, okay, it's fine. But then there comes a time when people are locked in, people are healthy for a long time, and you don't go on for certain roles for a long
Uh-huh.
time. And then one day, also I developed like this intuition where I was like, okay, I feel like I haven't reviewed this role in a long time. And when
Mm-hmm.
my soul tells me that I'm supposed to review,
Mm-hmm.
I did it every time, and then I ended up going on. So my spirit kind of started to know and like sense when somebody was going to call out or be sick or whatever. But every day was anxious. I was not excited to go to work because I didn't know what work was going to look like for me. Um, I didn't let that infiltrate like how I treated people, the energy I had. I still had fun, tried to make videos, interacted with people, went to the movies, hung out with the cast. I didn't go like out at night because after the show, I'm done thinking. I
Yes.
also don't go to like bars or anything like that. So I wasn't going to do that anyway. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, every day I was like, I'm going to go to work and I'm going to go home. I would literally wait till the last second that would allow me to be on time to go to the theater. And I don't think people knew what I was experiencing. I was very honest about it, like saying that I didn't love to swing or whatever, but I don't think people knew the extent. Like it was crazy. So I think after the first 6 months, when everything was more solidified, I could kind of chill a little bit more. But I still was like, I don't know if I want to go outside and go on an adventure today because I might get called. And whenever I get called, I like to at least look at the whole show for
Right.
that specific role. So I feel like it just demands more of your energy, your time, and your spirit if you care about doing good at it, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was just like I'm like I'll never do this again.
Hey,
Swinging is crazy. I don't think it's talked about enough. Number one, like when people say, "Oh, swings are underappreciated," like
they
seriously though,
are, yes.
times where the show, like all the leads or all the main people or so many of the main people are out, and we have the swings have to split track. So now we got to do 2 tracks in one number. We got to carry out somebody else's props. We got to do this. We got to do that. And when we have like automatically higher paycheck technically for swinging, like they give you a bump that's fixed into your paycheck,
Okay.
but you don't get paid to go on for those roles unless it's like a principal role. And so while it is nicer to have a bigger paycheck, it's not that big in comparison to the work. And when you go on for your principals, if it's not like the lead of the show or just not a role that's super demanding, it feels less worth it to get the bump for the principal than it does for the ensemble because we
Right.
go on for the ensembles way more. And that's obviously why they don't give us a bump because they knew or they know.
That-
Because the ensemble, you got to sing, dance, act, you got to lift the principals, you got to do everything. You're doing sometimes more than the leads of the show, and you don't get a bump for it.
Tay,
Yeah.
that
So.
I was so happy when I saw that you did the swing, like you're a swing, because anytime I just even think about that and I try to fathom that experience, it just stresses me out, the thought of
Mm-hmm.
it. I don't think I would prefer that if I
Mm-hmm.
had the choice. I don't think I would prefer it. But
Mm-hmm.
even you breaking it down and being like, okay, this is what this really means, and the notice that you get, it being like an hour or just like, okay, middle of the show, that I don't think I'm personally built for that. I feel like if God prepared me for it, I could do anything. But with
Mm-hmm.
where I'm at right now, in my mind of just how I like to be focused on one thing, I don't think I would prefer that. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think I would prefer that.
Yeah,
We,
and I feel like I was prepared, but I'm like, that's not the point.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
You can be good at it and still that not be the point. Like
yes.
people glamorize it. People are like, I love being da da da, but then y'all are complaining. I'm
Mm,
like, everybody gonna get to the complaint at some point because I don't care how much you love to do a bunch of different roles. I don't care how fun or how the adrenaline pump gets you going.
mhm,
It's not a good thing for the soul and the mind. I don't care what you say. Nobody should be covering 7 or 8 roles and be making only like a couple $100 more than the 8 people they cover.
mhm. That ain't fair. That don't sound fair.
So you can't convince me. Like obviously I knew I was good at it, but I'm like, I like to be on stage every night. I'm someone who comes to work every single day. I don't call out.
Mm,
Not that that's be glamorized either. You call out when you need to, but I try to take care of myself in a way so that I don't have to.
right,
I
correct.
like to be at work. I like to meet new people. I like to add emphasis in different areas to my show. Like when I did Mean Girls, I was on stage every night and I had a ball. Like I don't dread a single moment of that show.
Yeah.
Traveling is hard and all that kind of stuff sometimes, but I didn't care about that. I had so much fun.
What
So
would you say? I do want to touch, we have a little time left. I want to touch a little bit on Mean Girls, and then I want to talk about Black Boy Joy, and
mm,
then we can close it out.
okay.
So
You know,
tell me how that was for you, Mean Girls.
that was my first tour. It was non-equity tour. Not that that has any connotation. To me, I was like, it's a job. I'm going to get paid. It's fine. People try to convince you that non-equity or like the whole classist, elitist thing in theater,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm the first person to do theater and to like be in this world. I wasn't going to camp. I wasn't going to New York to see Broadway shows every summer with my family. I wasn't going to all the intensives. I wasn't doing all of that. So I didn't have any scope or scale to gauge that off of. So I just was like, okay. Um, and I had auditioned for Mean Girls. So I think one round before, did a video submission, didn't hear anything back. Then like 2 months later, auditioned again. And at this time, I was on my last $2,000 in New York,
Okay.
praying for a job, trying to get a job at a shoe store, a job at an ice cream spot. Didn't get anything. Nothing was sticking.
Mm-hmm.
Um, had been auditioning for like 8 months. Anyway, submitted another video through my agents with Mean Girls. They asked me to come in for a dance call. And at the time, I was working on an opera at PAC NYC. They had just opened or whatever. I was
Okay.
like, I can come to callbacks, but you're gonna have to use the video submissions as like the final whatever, because I have to go to something that's paying me. They'll
Mm-hmm.
So I get there and then they're like, actually, can you stay? I'm like, y'all. So then I stay for a little bit, do the side, sing the songs again, and then like 2 weeks later, I got the job. And we toured through the country, non-equity tours. At least I think for Mean Girls, we thought it was going to be like mainly bus. I will say we flew more than we bused, to be honest. We would
Okay.
like bus to some cities. So some nights we would go to a city, stay there for 2 days, go to bed, travel to a new city, and that sounds crazy to people, but once you get into the flow of things, it's fine. I
Yeah.
think Mean Girls, in its nature, is a fun, unserious show, and obviously there's
Yeah.
things to take seriously, but it was so diverse. It was so fun. Everybody was funny. I laughed every single day, making $600 a week.
Yeah.
Um, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. Also, I had dreamed of being in that show since I went to New York in 2019. That's when I saw it on Broadway for the first time.
Okay.
So even though I got it like 6 years later, I was like, it's still worth it because we ended up closing. We were scheduled to close that year. I joined the second year of the tour. And if I would have gotten any show or gotten anything else prior, I would not have been able to do Mean Girls and have that place to start from, at least how I feel about touring and doing shows professionally. So yeah, Mean Girls was fun. I understudied two roles, Principal Duval and Damien, and I went on for those roles a total of like no more than 8 times
Okay.
together. So
Okay.
they
Okay.
wasn't, yeah, they wasn't calling out on the non-equity tour.
They was in there.
So I had a ball, made some lifelong friends. Like I really, really, really enjoyed it. And we still went to like Toronto. We went to Monterey, Mexico. We still went to all the fun places, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes we just had to go to a different city every single night. We
Hmm.
spent a week in some cities. We spent a month in Toronto. Sometimes we spent a day in the city. But I really would not trade it for anything. I had a ball there. So
I think it's cool the fact even that you talked about your pay for it, like
yeah,
it being $600 a week, but it was joyous. I think people don't talk about that. You could be earning whatever. Let's just make them enough 5,500 a day doing
and
something,
people
right?
do.
And baby, people do. But it's like if your environment is just like heavy and
It's not
it's
worth it.
taxing, it ain't worth it. Cause you're upset, you're irritated, your head hurt. It's like it's not, you would prefer something $600 a week if I'm gonna have my peace in this situation. Because if I gotta be stuck with y'all, if I have
Every
to
day.
be stuck with y'all for a month or 2 months, whatever, it's like I want to be happy in this process.
I choose peace over anything.
Peace.
Money, the whole money can buy happiness conversation, I've always teetered. I think money can be a segue to you securing your happiness,
Hmm.
but it's not going to buy it if you don't know how to use it. So
Yep.
I now where I am in my life at 25, I think I prioritize peace and prosperity over a dime because the dime's going to come.
Yes.
Um, so yeah, I really enjoyed Mean Girls. Yeah,
We talked about that about I know like even when I looked at your resume and stuff in your website, which I love your website by the way. I
Thank
like
you.
how you have it. It's very like easy to digest and I like the coloring of it too. But I know something that you always talk about is your joy, and
Mhm.
you pair everything with a smile. And which I love. Like I love that you are outward about your smile because so many people feel like it's so much cooler to be so demure and so
You
like,
know,
not smiling and so nonchalant. So for you, with your joy in seeing that's a part of like your superpowers, I feel like your joy is a part of your superpower and your positivity. I feel
uh,
like people can feel that like when they meet you. And even when I wanted to reach out to you, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna reach out to Tay because it's
and thank you.
you seem inviting. You seem like an inviting presence. So
Mhm.
tell me, for you, when did you realize that joy is something that you wanted to, I don't want to say market because I don't feel like you're trying to monetize your joy, but a part of your personality? When did you know that that was a part of you? The joy.
Realization, like the like actual realization, I think was maybe after college.
Okay.
Um, I think I started getting into journaling and like mindfulness. I took a mindfulness and cultural intelligence class when I was in college.
Hmm.
It's all about breathing and learning about culture and spiritual practices and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, again, with the whole making sure you find joy and happiness in your job, I wanted to find that in my life and just no matter what is going on, be able to source that.
Yes.
Because I don't think it's a hard thing to have. Obviously, people deal with a bunch of different things, but I think once you do know how to deal with your emotions and have the spiritual security, you can't be like moved by certain things, or at
Yeah.
least because I'm affected by things and words and stuff or whatever, whatever. But I never let anything deter me from my path. Like if somebody says something hurtful or tries to insult me or make me feel bad, whatever, sure, I'll be like, okay, that's disappointing that they want me to feel bad or they're trying to
Yeah.
insult me. But it never was like, oh, they said I'm this, so I'm not going to pursue theater or I'm not going to do this. Like
Exactly.
that's already fixed. The path is fixed. The journey is fixed. The personal legend is fixed. I never doubted that or even doubted when people say anything about it. But I think joy was like I would rather be happy. So I think that's why the whole
Yes.
joy thing came about. And making other people feel happy is also really exciting to me. I think it's more so exciting. So I think that's when and why after college it kind of stuck. And I've always been happy, like the social media thing when I started and in school. And it's always been like that. But I think I
Yeah.
solidified it and was like, okay, this is what I want forever and everything after college.
Yes. I have to say like being happy is way better than being sad. And like you said, people people go through things. We all have very real things we're going through, but I think it's important to understand that it's like, okay, you're going to go through things. But now it's about how will I funnel these things? How will I allow everything to permeate my system? Where it's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, today I got a flat tire. All right, I'm gonna be mad about the flat tire and I'm gonna be
You
sad.
gonna be mad or you gonna get it fixed?
Yes, solutions.
You still have to get it fixed. You still have to figure out how to navigate it. I think it was a matter of like, because when I was stressing about money in school, I'm like,
Mhm.
me stressing about money is not going to pay me by the hour. If I
Yes,
got paid to be stressed, sure, but I
yes,
wasn't. So I'm like, that's not changing anything. I have to just like, I obviously can be affected by it. I'm allowed to be affected by it,
of course.
but I just have to use that energy that I would use being like stressed and pacing and thinking about it over and over again to figure out how to deal with it. I
Exactly.
think that's where I live from now when it comes to like getting essentials. If I need to get like gas, well, I don't have a car, but if I need to get gas or figure out how I'm going to get from point A to point B, or pay for a bill or secure an apartment in New York, which is what I'm working on right now.
Hmm.
Just figure out how to navigate it versus stressing about it. And I still overthink a little bit,
Hmm.
but I overthink while I'm working on it.
Yes,
So I think
you
it's a
don't
matter
just
of action.
you don't just sit and overthink.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, I'm thinking about this. Let me put some action to it. And I think that's why I know that you have a lot of success ahead of you, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why even up to this point you've had so much success because you're like, okay, let's get this. Like, what we doing? Because you could be having so much idle time and nothing is happening. But I think that's why it's like your path is already, like you said, you already got your path and it's already ahead of you. It's just now you taking those steps.
Yeah, I think people freeze in fear. And I've done that many times too, like overthought something and then didn't do
Yep.
anything at all.
Yep.
But it, like you said, take the step
Take the step.
and boom, it's rolling.
Yes. Tay, we are at 12 o'clock now. Well, 1 o'clock your time, 12 o'clock my time.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for doing this. I really enjoyed this chat. I always get like a little nervous going into these, especially when I haven't like talked to the person. But I really enjoyed this chat and I hope you've enjoyed it as well.
I have. I love reflection in this period of my life too. And
Yeah.
so having a conversation and thinking about things that I haven't thought about, things that I have thought about, but revisit and be like, right. I think it was great. And you're very conversational. The questions just flow very well. Like everything is very connected. You got a good system going on. Hopefully this grows into something bigger. Get you a little studio and get you a little, but no, it's really, really fun. I love to talk about it and share it with the world, even if 10 people see it, if a million people see it, whatever. One person is all it takes.
Thank
Um, yeah,
Thank you, Tay. Thank you
yeah.
for being willing. I am going to send you a message when we get off of here, just with some little details on what I plan to do with dropping it and stuff. And then we'll chat soon.
All right. Thank you
All right.
so much. Have the best day and the best season of your life.
You as well, Tay. I'm rooting for you.
Thank you. Ditto. See you
Bye.
later.
Volumes, even if your voice just shakes, every little moment leaves a tidal Williams. Let the silence resonate. There's a word between the words we never say. Tonight, we're speaking volumes.